the CEO of a company called OCD Media. We are an independent paid media services agency. So we do media buying across every different kind of outlet and channel and way that people can be communicated to, where advertising is a part of it. But what really sets us apart is up in the upper quadrant there of strategy, where we do work like segmentation, competitive tracking, modeling, and analytics for mid-sized companies. We don't work for Unilevers and Proctors and companies like that, but we work for challenger brands and unique brands. I've got a great team of subject matter experts that collaborate and work together on a daily basis. Everyone has a functional responsibility, as well as working together in building out what the right programs are for each of our clients. I haven't seen many of these people since early March, and I miss them terribly. We come from some big media agencies, full service creative agencies, media agencies, and even some media companies. So the kind of training and approaches that we have learned from working on things like Campbell Soup and Procter & Gamble really help us bring a sort of discipline and process to helping to navigate through the complex media world these days. We like to work with what we call underdogs and unicorns, really unique brands that know that they need to be different and smarter about everything that they do. It's not about buying the lowest price media to get more bang for your buck. It's really about understanding what you shouldn't be doing as much as what you should be doing in paid media. Our philosophy is threefold. One is, we say, psychology first. It's really all about understanding why people behave the way they do in categories, and why they buy a brand A versus brand B, and how those attitudes and motivations align with the media consumption that they have. Everything we do is driven by data. It's an analytical approach, scientific in nature, and it's very sort of process oriented instead of just tactical. Every campaign that we do is customized and different based on our clients' needs. And we integrate all the execution. So we don't care what the outcomes are and which media we will be buying. But when we do determine what it is, we're relentless in how we execute and get more value for our clients. We're active in all media, national and local and digital and national TV and everything. And we manage about $275 million in billings in the agency. And we routinely beat other agencies at pricing. And I think a lot of it is because when we approach things with the strategy that we use, we identify fewer vendors to negotiate with, and therefore we can spend more time on negotiations and get much more value out of it for our clients. Our client roster is pretty diverse. We run the gamut of retail, professional services, healthcare. We work for New York State, automotive, some education clients, packaged goods, and B2B, including we're doing some work now for a legal firm as well. What that means is we're talking to all the different vendors that are out there, and we understand what's happening, not just in one industry, but we know what's happening in a number of industries. Research is an important part of what we do. We spend $100,000 a year paying for research, and the research is really the lifeblood of how we come up with better recommendations than other agencies. And when it comes to results, if we can better identify the prospects through the predictive modeling and segment evaluation that we do, build a better strategy based on what we know is going to work and not going to work for an individual brand, we're going to get the best results, and we do. We typically can turn around a declining business in a single year and turn it into, at worst case, we'll flatten it. Best case scenario, we'll grow that business. I'm going to walk you through a very, very quick case study. I'm not going to go through all the details with you, but this is a case of a brand that came to us, Freshenet. It's a sparkling wine, a cava from Barcelona. It's a good one. It's a mass brand, but it's a premium mass brand. They, in 2015, came to us because their user base was getting older and they weren't drawing younger people into their business. And on the left is a profile of what their user was at the time. On the right is what we came up with based on the analysis of the data. We look at MRI data for this to demonstrate year in and year out what kind of target we can go after, what are the attitudinal differences, which are in some cases are huge, and what that means in the kind of media that they consume. And what we did for them was built an amazing program that included everything from social native content, custom content, video, publisher direct content where we were in print, online, in mobile, where we were using traditional media and out of home to build a local presence in some markets, and doing things like programmatic advertising to drive some efficiencies. The interesting thing here is that we recognized that their website was not the place where we wanted to send traffic, because the website was really created for that older audience. And we were pushing drink recipes, batch cocktails for people to use at parties. And we drove them to a Pinterest page that was just chock full of these batch cocktail recipes for people to look at. And the results of all of this work over 5 years was that we grew their business across all of their age groups. While we were looking to down age them over the 5-year period, their total sales were up at least 20%. As high as 30% in the 55 to 64 age group. So we solidified their business where they were already strong, grew it, and also started to grow their business in younger segments. That's just an example of the kind of work that we do, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you, David. That was great. So questions. Let me. Here I'll go from the bottom up, or maybe not. That wouldn't be so good. I think the first question for David, are there any verticals or sectors you focus on?
Great question. We're really great in consumer products. We do a lot of work in the healthcare space as well. So over-the-counter healthcare, prescription drug is a specialty for us. We've done a lot in food and beverage, of course. Retail, we're really good at retail. We handle retail on two sides. We have some retailers that are looking to grow their business. We also have some retailers that are liquidating because they're in bankruptcy. So we get brought in to get people into the stores to buy the merchandise. The most recent one we did was for Barney's, New York. If any of you were shoppers there. So any media that you had seen for Barney's for the liquidation, we placed. Television, out of home, Facebook, programmatic advertising.
And Robert Weiss asks, can you expand more on what you're doing for legal without giving any secrets away?
So
personal injury or corporate is his question.
It's not PI and it's not corporate. I guess It's more class action. So when there are class action suits resolved, law firms are trying to funnel litigants in, claimants into different law firms. So we're working for not a law firm, we're working for a legal marketing agency, a lawyer marketing agency. So they're basically a lead generation business where they take leads and they sell them to law firms for like $3,000 or whatever per lead. And the law firms follow up with those people and help them file their claims on a class action suit.
Wow.
Does that help? Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody, feel free to unmute yourself and ask aloud now that David's gone through his presentation.
Dale had a question. What industries for B2B? We haven't done, well, the last few projects we've worked on in B2B have been, we did like a timekeeping system for any sort of professional services. So if you bill by the hour, it was a timekeeping system to help people track their time so that they can get more billable hours, just make it easier for them to track their time. Another one was a company in the, I want to say in the HR space because it's the best way to describe them, but they were really about helping companies improve their diversity, their inclusion, their training, especially as it relates to cultural bias, and also helping people who are not used to working in a given culture, help them be successful working in a different cultural. So if someone was working for a company in the US and got sent to Dubai, they would need to have some sort of a training to help them be more successful working with the people there. So for them, it was a lot of digital marketing. We did some search engine optimization. We did paid search. We did display advertising with human resources kind of magazines, diversity and inclusion magazines, as well as websites. And we did programmatic advertising for them because they needed to do digital ads all around the world. So we were running ads globally for them.
David, I have a question. Have you done any sort of before and after, taken over from another agency and shown
all the time? All the time.
Can you tell us about one of those?
Yeah, we in November we picked up the Dr. Scholl's foot insole business. It was sold by Bayer to private equity. The private equity company has worked with us 4 other times. They acquire a brand, they hire us, we help stabilize the business, then we help accelerate the growth, and then they flip it for a profit, buy another brand, and come back to us again and again and again. For Dr. Scholl's, our role was strictly national television buying because they were building their e-commerce business and they had already hired an e-commerce digital agency to help them there. So we were just doing their national TV primarily for their core retail business. They were working with one of the largest multinational media buying agencies in the world who constantly talks about leverage and that they get best value for their clients. They bought in the upfront market, which is when you get the best pricing for television. We did 3 different TV buys for Dr. Scholl's, including one within 2 weeks of the brand being acquired. We put together a TV buy, got them on the air, and beat the pricing of their prior agency by 20%. And it wasn't just the price that we beat them on, we improved the quality. We bought better networks that had higher reach. We bought better day parts than they bought. They were buying a lot of overnight and daytime, and we bought a lot of prime time. And, again, we upgraded the quality of the networks to larger networks and still beat their price by 20%.
All right. We had one more. We actually ran out of time.
Can I ask a question? Just real quick.
Sure.
Just real quick, I'm curious, how much work do you do in Spanish or Spanish advertising or campaigns?
We do from time to time. We'll work on a campaign that has Spanish audiences, but we just handle the media side, Audrey. We don't do the creative, so someone else is providing us with that creative. But when we've done Hispanic campaigns, because of our strategic approach and everything that we do, we tend to even beat Hispanic specialty agencies who tend to focus more on tactics and not really understand a bit larger issues.
Wonderful. Thank you, David. So there was another question from Robert about, what kind of leads would be ideal for you. I'm not going to let you take any more time, but you and you can certainly get back to Robert on that, or on the self-promotion channel on Slack. Feel free to add that. All right. So I think the list of my grid here starts from the person who the people that got on earliest. So I'm going to give 2 minutes to everybody, which should get us through. We have about 15 people or so. Mark Teichbull, you're next, then Audrey, then Alex Acker. So Mark, you're on.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Mark Teichbull. I'm in beautiful sunny Florida, southern Florida. And what I do is basically I work for private companies, but mostly for private equity groups and investment banks. And what a lot of I do is I do trending, and I do positioning for them because they have a portfolio company. They don't necessarily know whether they want to expand it, sell it. And of course, with a private equity group, they always want to buy. But the gist of it is that we eventually come up with a trend, and we give them recommendations on what they should do next. And so ultimately that leads to partnerships and expansion, and that's really what I do. I mean, eventually that leads sometimes to CX and process work, but for the most part, we're sort of over after we give our recommendations to the private equity groups.
So it's mostly strategy kind of recommendations, growth strategy.
Well, it's strategy, market research. I mean, we give solid recommendations. So it's like, for example, if I'm in population health, we're going to tell people this is what the market looks like. This is where the company is that you're positioned. And the best way for you to grow this company is to go here or go here. And invariably there's somebody there that they may want to buy, or occasionally they'll put up the money and expand it. But usually with a private equity group, they want to buy. Private companies are different. They will look to expand.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Mark. I'm going to switch to a minute 45 because we're a little bit tight. I want to make sure we get everybody a chance. Audrey, you are up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Glover-Dictor PL. I'm a solo practitioner in South Florida, but my practice is focused on federal law. So it doesn't matter where I sit, I can help anybody in nationwide. I focus on, I work with professionals who need to launch legally compliant marketing campaigns in English and Spanish, hence my question to David. But lack the legal knowledge to attempt to avoid lawsuits for false advertising, IP infringement, and privacy law violations. So basically, I've helped companies, either small, medium agencies, small, medium businesses, and startups with making sure that their business is protected if they have whatever copyrights, trademarks, patents. Well, I don't do patents, but I work with a patent attorney. If you are online, that you're privacy compliant and ADA compliant, and of course your marketing campaign needs to be legal compliant per FTC before you launch it. And of course, depending on your business or your product, whatever your service or your product is, it depends what else I go with besides FTC. I start with the FTC, but then of course I add and it also depends on what states you go into. I review those as well, just to make sure you're compliant. I mean, sometimes, as you probably have seen other campaigns where it says not valid. Sorry about my husband, he's being quite loud. They're playing a game, imagine that. Anyway, so you know how like you see sometimes not valid in, and then they list a whole bunch of states? Well, that's because they don't want to change their marketing campaign for specific states. Audrey Glover-Dictor PL. If anybody needs me, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you so much. Alexander Acker, followed by Buddy, followed by Patrick. Alexander, you are up. You're on mute.
I know, sorry. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm president of Adventure House, adventurehouseny.com. I'm located in Long Island in the basement of my house, which is now my office, next to my guitars and my amplifiers, which if you look to the bottom there, that's a brand new one from this morning. My agency has been in business since 1990, and I bought it from two partners in 2011. And I streamlined its full services, you know, the traditional agency model that does everything. We removed things like advertising and whatnot, and I streamlined it to motion graphics, marketing, and web creation. And Michael knows that because I've referred him to people who we've worked with just in the past. So last year we moved to virtual from having a great office in Chelsea, and it's obviously paid off very well during these COVID times. Our work is not spread evenly. The bulk of my business right now is probably in motion graphics for probably mostly social media, because who's going to conferences and events? So my agency website really only shows a drop in the bucket of my work because most of my clients are large Fortune 100, 500 clients, and everything is NDA, which sucks. So I really show it kind of one-on-one. Everything we do is focused on client needs. If it's telling stories like how companies are pivoting in COVID, how companies are commercializing and launching new products, turning data points into wow infographics or motion graphics. Oh, I'm up to capturing eyeballs. I need 10 seconds. Our clients count on us to boost their business. We work heavily in financial services. So if you know a firm that needs to turn their content into meaningful messaging and visuals, I'd love the referral. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Buddy Altus, you are up, minute 45. Go for it.
Hey, hi, I'm Buddy Altus. I run Bridgeton Advisors, a consulting firm that specializes in innovation, e-commerce, marketing, product development, and partnerships. I was at Avis Budget Group for 17 years in both marketing and innovation, so have deep knowledge of the travel space. And prior to that was at American Express, so I know both payments and travel. I understand platform businesses very well, APIs, and would love to help anybody know a little bit more about that or contribute to any of your projects if you have them in those areas.
What's a good lead for you?
What's a good lead for me? Somebody that needs people to do product development where the sales team does not necessarily understand the technology as well as the more technical people in the company. So they have the relationships with customers, but they don't really understand the full capabilities and are able to explain the value proposition to customers as well as somebody that has a deeper understanding of the technologies and capabilities.
And I can vouch for Buddy's technical chops. He and I went to same engineering program at the University of Pennsylvania just a few hundred years ago. Patrick Sassow, you are up. And then Jeremy Wolf and then Gary Hayden.
Hi, everybody. Patrick Sasso from Loop 7. Loop 7 is a multimedia production company. We work with agencies, brand marketing departments, and we produce commercial advertising and social media content with video, photography, and music. I think what sets us apart is that we do a rounded vision. We can take a concept we can take the creative from concept to scripting, to finish, to mastering for TV, web, whatever the client needs to make sure that the production is useful, I guess, on any platform. We're sort of split between two versions of our company. One does cater to agencies and marketing departments heavily, and the other side is based on pharma and conferences, pharma and science, scientists and doctors who do their presentations, and we work with firms that help them conglomerate, put all their ideas together into one thing and send it out as a little snippet or some ideas and monetize that in sometimes. So Patrick Sasso, Loop 7.
Great. Thank you very much, Patrick. That was good. 7 seconds left, so we'll finish it up there. And Jeremy Wolf, you are up.
Great. Thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. Great to meet you all. Yeah, I'm Jeremy Wolf. I run a very small consultancy that I started really as COVID was kicking off, which was perfect timing. My background is about 30 years in PR and integrated communications, and I've worked for mid-size and large agencies through Australia, Hong Kong, and out of New York. My own company is kind of the byproduct of that experience. I mainly worked in technology, mainly business-to-business technology. The majority of my clients historically have been large companies like IBM and Cisco, Xerox, and that sort of thing. Today, though, I find myself working for small startups and B2B tech, and typically companies have got a really good idea, but don't have a voice or don't have established a unique voice, and then therefore don't really have an audience that they can reach. And so today I'm working as a fractional CMO for a couple of startups, helping them from everything from mission, vision, values, and purpose, through to product description, through to buyer persona, through to storylines, messaging, and so on, all the way through to ultimately product launch and execution. And so, yeah, I'm looking to help people do that. So similar sized companies who are similarly looking for a voice and audience, I'm the person that they can talk to. So I welcome any connections through LinkedIn and very happy to get on the phone or Zoom at any point.
Thank you, Jeremy. Okay. We will go on to Gary, David Berkowitz, then Ling Lang.
Okay, it's very nice to meet everybody. This is my first session with you guys, so thank you very much. I was very fortunate to meet Michael on something called Lunch Club. If you guys haven't tried it or not aware of it, I'll put a link in chat at the end. My company is a very niche-focused SEO, search engine optimization company. We really focus on Fortune 100 and 500 companies. And we basically, in a quick nutshell, we decoupled how Google works, and we figured out how to give Google what it's looking for. And we started this test about 4.5 years ago, proved out to be very successful. And now we represent some of the largest brands in the world. And through that, we're writing large quantities of data-driven content that meets what Google's bots are looking for, but it also has the right brand and tone for brands, and we can do that at scale, meaning we could do it in 30 to 40,000 pages from that standpoint. And we basically kind of have 3 centers of excellence. One is the foundation team that's optimizing. A lot of big companies are not able to keep up with and manage the pulse of Google on a daily basis, so we help them do that. Then drive the best strategy to accentuate and take advantage of the brand authority that big companies have out there. But with all the loud noise on the web, you've got to have a lot of good tactics to do that. And then data-driven content, kind of doing that at scale for large brands. So our ideal customer is a Fortune 100 to 500 company that has a national platform, and that their website is the gateway to their business. So I sent a lot of you guys LinkedIn requests. I look forward to meeting more people and getting to know you guys as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and Gary's company also spun out an interesting technology that helps people optimize their content for SEO. And I'll tell you more about that, I'm sure. Can't answer that. Okay. David Berkowitz, you're up.
Great to see a lot of familiar faces and hear some new stories here. So yeah, I've got this serial marketer consultancy. Main focus is demand generation, heavy around positioning, thought leadership, and content development, and more business development than I want to be doing. But that's why Michael and I get to get along so well, and I'm always trying to learn from people like you all who are good at trusted referrals. So, working predominantly with marketing tech companies, and especially those that are in that like seed to Series A, and just trying to get their act together, and maybe even have an adult in the room who comes from a marketing background, and I come from the agency side, and also some years in tech itself, and also how I got to know Michael was through professional communities, and so I've founded and have run Serial Marketers for the past couple of years. So just been continuing to build that up, and just great to. I think I've come across Jeff Berkowitz in Dallas, but I actually have my in-laws are in Dallas, but fortunately I can tell you, unlike prior generations of Berkowitzes, we no longer do that anymore. That was okay in Poland 100 years ago, but marrying cousins is apparently not so cool right now. So different names out with our in-laws. So great to see you all, and I look forward to staying connected.
And this David Berkowitz is not the escaped son of Sam. Exactly. Okay. Lane, you're on, and followed by Dale and Joy.
Yes, thank you. It's great to follow up after David Berkowitz. I'm a paid member of Serial Marketers too, and it's a great community to be on. So a little bit about me. I'm a digital marketer with a deep expertise in PPC marketing. I have a company called Dex, so you can see in the background there's DKCS, and I help marketing executive, agency leaders, decision makers at the tech companies to build really nice presentations. My ideal client will be someone like David and his OCD agency. I'll help them build pitch decks. I also provide add-on services such as PPC audit. It's a one-time commitment free to help they kickstart their campaigns. So that's a little bit about me. I'll be adding you guys on LinkedIn after the call today. I'm glad that we get to stay connected.
Thank you. Okay. Dale, then Joy, then Jill Francis. Dale, you're up.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Dale Sprague. I own a company called Canyon Creative along with my wife. We've been in business for 24 years out in Las Vegas, originally from the East Coast, but we're coaxed out here 24 years ago to start a business. We're a branding and marketing firm, and we're really good at creative, and our sweet spot is there. We look at overall image and messaging, and what their goals are, and usually goes to web after that, or starts right out with web, but we look at every aspect of their business to see what their goals are, and how they're approaching their marketing, and how we can come in and help them achieve what their goals are. We work with many different industries. Some firms specialize, we don't specialize. We've worked with gaming. Wynn Resorts has been a client for many years, as well as some smaller companies. So we don't discriminate between small business and large business. And I'd say probably right now our sweet spot is small to mid-sized types of businesses. That's us.
Great. And our only member in Las Vegas. So thank you for putting a stake in the ground in Nevada for us. Hopefully we'll be able to build out more soon. Okay, Joy, then Jill Francis, then Robert.
So I'm Joy. I might be your only member in Maryland. I don't know.
Possibly.
But yeah, I'm located in between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. I see a storm, typical summer storm brewing here. But I am a market research consultant. I've been an independent consultant. It was 22 years last week. So I work with a variety of different industries. I've done research on just about every industry I think maybe there is. I've talked to everybody from truck drivers to physicians, so, and everything in between. And I do both quantitative and qualitative work. I kind of operate with 3 different business models. I work with marketing consultants who need a researcher to do that piece of it, like branding research or positioning. I work with other researchers who need overflow or has somebody or need somebody who has expertise in a specific methodology, because I've done a lot of digital methodologies in my work. And sometimes I work directly with clients as well. So that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joy. Jill Francis, coming in from Massachusetts, correct?
How's everyone? I'm Jill Francis Gray, and my company is JFG Visual Communications. It's a small design firm similar to Dale, doing brand strategy, visual communications, a little bit of digital marketing, but not too much, and creative services. I find that the types of people that I work with either run the gamut of entrepreneurs and startups where I become their internal creative team, or it's working for larger companies that have internal creative but may need assistance as far as like doing initiatives or outsourcing some of their projects, or just helping them with whatever needs that they have. So, and that's all that sums it up.
And Jill Francis, you're on the north shore of, you're in north of Boston, right?
I'm in Newburyport, Mass, which is 40 minutes north of Boston, but like a half an hour south of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So it's on the coast. It's a very cute town. Everybody should come visit whenever they can, when everybody's allowed to travel.
Exactly.
It's quite nice.
All right, wonderful. Robert, then Ed, then Elise. Robert, you are on.
All right, cool. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see some new faces, and then some like faces that I've known for a while, and then faces that I've known for a really long time. So hello, everybody. Robert Weiss. I've got a company, Multivision Digital, and we are a digital marketing firm. The only thing that we do is video and video content. So every piece of content that you have, from top of the funnel, you know, David advertising, Lynn SEO, PPC landing pages, social media content, sales content. We've done about 850 videos over the last 10 years, like all ranging of, we create content for the right place at the right time that happens to be video. That's what we do. And then in today's world, what we're doing is utilizing these devices to actually coach people through capturing devices. We have a system called Remote Video Capture. It's a software that you download. And what we're finding that's great for subject matter expert content. It's not great for that branding video that you need to go shoot and you have a big crew. But for kind of talking head where you can edit stuff in, if charts and graphs, and really provide content that people need to convert into leads, that people need for social media, that people need to, you know, that as salespeople need to send to other people from a subject matter expert standpoint. This is phenomenal, and it's very cost effective. So that's what we've been doing since the lockdown, and that's it. Hi, everybody. Robert Weiss.
Good timing, 5 seconds left, so that's good. Okay, Ed Wollman, you're up.
I'll take the 5 seconds, and thank you, Michael, for setting this up and doing this. This is great. My name's Ed Wollman, and my company is Image Media. We're an experience design agency. We work with Fortune 500 companies who are looking to do things in the live physical world and the virtual world for communications. So the kinds of programs that we typically will do are big national sales meetings, leadership summits, customer events. These all have main stage and maybe expos and breakouts and so forth. And we manage and design all aspects of those programs. Our world obviously has really become much more virtually focused. So we are, and we've always been delivering on virtual programs. But what we did is we looked at the marketplace for virtual event platforms, saw a big gap there, and we have designed and created our own virtual event platform, which is incredibly robust, easily customizable, really highly differentiated from many of the platforms that are out there. So we're helping our clients strategize on how to transform their events from that live physical world into virtual, and then developing all those kinds of programs for them.
Yep, and Image Media has done some really fascinating work. I know a little bit about their live work, nothing since COVID. So but I'm sure it's just as amazing as the work he's done in live.
Thanks.
Okay, and Elise, and then I will not forget myself, which I did last time, but Elise, you go.
So it's nice to meet everybody and see some of the faces that I haven't seen before. Elise Saul. I operate in the world of sports technology. So I spent 17 years at the National Hockey League and then another 10 plus years in digital media, advertising technology. And now I really work with sports technology companies that have shown a measure of success in countries other than North America, and they all want to come into North America and knock on the door of sports properties, and they need a way in. So they work with me to help A, get them financing, and B, get them engaged in the world of legacy sports. And that's what I do.
And Elise is probably the only person ever to go from Olympic level figure skating to the NHL.
I played ice hockey, varsity ice hockey in between, so I did.
Exactly, and she did not play for the NHL. Okay,
No.
I will give myself a minute 45, so and then we'll have a little bit of time to talk about what's going on with the Trusted Referral Network. So my name is Michael Bendit. You all know me. You're mostly, I know you. I brought you in because we've met somewhere along the way. And my company is called Software Development Resources. It's unusual because I don't do any software development myself. I represent about 10 different software development teams. They're boutique teams, which means, you know, from 2 people up to like 400 people is still boutique actually in this world. We do about half of our work is for marketing applications. So, you know, we build websites, we build e-commerce applications, we build mobile applications, and anything else marketing. And then the other half, roughly, is startups. So we help people who have an idea or who already have an operating business and need to, you know, move from freelancer to team. Reason people come to me is because they often don't know where else to go for the technology or for the resources that are at the right cost, you know, have the right experience base, etc. Best leads for me are actually digital marketing agencies. And the reason is because they tend to focus more on the front end, the design, the strategy, and don't always have, even though they might have some programmers on staff, they may not have the bandwidth or the right skill set for the project that comes over the transom. Right? They might have some programmers that do WordPress, for example, or something else, Shopify, but they'll get something that requires skills in a different platform, like Magento or Drupal. Some of these names might be very foreign to you, but the idea is I've got these 10 teams, and I can pick and choose and match to the right skill set. So we have about